You keep watching other men level up, and you tell yourself a story. That they're different, that you're not capable of success. But that couldn't be further from the truth. The only difference between you and them is that they protected their focus long enough to become consistent. They chose effort long enough to become disciplined, while you keep yourself distracted. But keeping yourself distracted won't lead you to the life you want. Eventually, a man reaches a point where the noise stops feeling pleasant, and it starts feeling like a leash. And if he stays stuck in the distractions long enough, he forgets the sound of his own thoughts. Because when you're always surrounded, you never have to sit with the silence. You never have to ask the question that changes everything. And that is, what am I actually doing with my life? And that question is heavy. But most men asking it, they keep scrolling. They keep talking. Anything but stillness. And this is why the idea of going solo scares men more than failure. Because going solo and avoiding distractions forces you to come to terms with uncomfortable truths that you've been avoiding. It feels like stepping away from comfort on purpose, like walking out of the warm room and into the cold air, with nothing but your own discipline to keep you steady. But that is exactly why it works. Going solo isn't antisocial. It isn't you declaring that everyone else is beneath you. It's a season. A season where you stop letting other people set your pace. A season where you stop letting other people decide your future. Because a man can't become sharp in a room full of noise. He becomes sharp in silence. When you're alone, you can't blame your environment anymore. You can't hide behind, "they made me." You either improve or you don't. And that's painful. Because the first thing you feel in solitude isn't purpose. It's withdrawal. The mind reaches for stimulation like a starving man reaches for food. Your hand reaches for the phone without thinking. You start craving the quick hit of attention. And this doesn't mean you're weak. It just means you're human. But this is the first discipline you must build. The first discipline is simply refusing to escape, to sit in the quiet without running, to let boredom exist without numbing it, to let loneliness breathe without filling it with noise. Because loneliness isn't always a warning sign. Sometimes loneliness is the price of direction. When you stop chasing the same distractions, you stop fitting into the same conversations. When you stop needing constant entertainment, you stop moving at the same speed. And that separation is where your life begins to change. The gym teaches this better than any speech ever could. An empty gym doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care about your excuses. The weight sits there in silence, and it tells you the truth. You are either disciplined or you are not. No crowd can lift it for you. No friend can carry you through the set. No one can hold the tension for you when your body wants to quit. That's solitude. The kind that builds a man. Because every time you show up alone, you reinforce a message. You embody the identity of, "I don't need an audience to be consistent." And that's what a man is supposed to become. Not loud, not reckless, not constantly seeking approval. A man should be responsible. A man should provide direction. He is the one who carries weight without needing applause. He is the one who can say no, even when yes would feel easier. But the crowd teaches you the opposite. The crowd rewards impulse. The crowd rewards shortcuts. In the crowd, you learn how to be liked. You learn how to fit in. You learn how to stay comfortable. But comfort doesn't build a life. Comfort builds dependence. It trains you to need other people to confirm your choices. And then you wonder why you can't focus. You wonder why you can't stay disciplined. So this is why going solo, at least for one season in your life, is important. You begin to notice what drains you. You begin to notice what pulls you off your path. You realize how many of your decisions weren't decisions at all. They were reactions. And a man who is always reacting will never build anything great. Greatness requires intention. It requires a steady hand, a calm mind, a long view. And that long view is difficult to hold when you're constantly surrounded by distractions. So you go solo to align yourself, to hear the voice that gets buried under distractions. Some men call that voice purpose. Some call it the universe pointing them in a direction. Some call it God. Whatever you call it, it is real. It is the part of you that knows what you're capable of. The part of you that refuses to accept a small life. But you can't hear it in the crowd. You hear it when you're alone, when you're working, when you're disciplined. And this is where the real leveling up happens. When the day is ordinary, when progress is slow, that's when you prove your character. Because a man becomes what he repeats. He becomes what he does in private. He becomes what he chooses when nobody is watching. And this is why going solo is a weapon. It breaks your dependence on distraction. It breaks your need for constant approval. It makes you harder to influence, harder to pull off course, harder to control. And that is freedom. A man in the crowd is easy to predict, easy to manipulate, easy to distract. A man with solitude and discipline is different. He knows what he will tolerate from himself. He knows what he will not do, even when it would feel good. And that is restraint. That is direction. That is responsibility. And at this point, the shift happens. Because once you're alone long enough, everything starts becoming clear. You stop needing company to begin. And you just start. And when you start, things change. You start asking the question that should have been asked from the beginning. Why not you? Why can't it be you who levels up? Why can't it be you who becomes disciplined? You're not made of different material from other people. You just haven't given yourself a clean season. A season where you stop being distracted. A season where you become serious about your goals. Because the man you want to become is built in a place most men refuse to enter. Silence. Routine. Repetition. The slow, unimpressive work that compounds. And if you can do that, the crowd won't matter. You will have something stronger than attention. You will have alignment with your purpose. You will have discipline. You will have a direction that doesn't change with your mood. So go solo. Focus on improving. Think of it as a season of construction. And when you come back, you won't come back chasing validation. You'll come back with weight in your presence. Because you finally chose what most men avoid. And you stayed with it. Long enough for it to change you. And you'll finally be the man you can be proud of.